So let's be honest, sometimes testing may not be the most fun thing in the world, but it is crucial and it actually can be fun, but you got to kind of do it in a certain way that you can get something out of it. So you can see really basic tests of like, yeah, just make sure that this equals this, and that's obviously no fun. But there are a ton of different packages out there that make it fun. And like I said, it is crucial. It is something that you need to do. It's the difference between pushing buggy code and not putting quality in your code, not putting quality in your application, in your package, and actually writing code that you know exactly what's going to happen and the user knows exactly what's going to happen. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how to test some code using Go. So I do have a test directory here, and there's this Golang Azure repo in my GitHub. If you want to check that out, you definitely can, and you can pull the code down from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file called Azure auth test. Now you're going to see this test keyword here, and what this does is this lets Go know what files or what packages or applications inside of the test folder or any folder is specific for test. So let's say you had a whole bunch of other Go files in this test folder. The tests actually won't run unless you put test at the end so Go knows that it's a test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my new package and I'm going to call it Azure auth, right? Then I'm going to do my imports and we're going to see a few non-standard imports. So you're going to see the FMT, which is just for like, you can print lines out to a console and things like that. And then you're going to see this testing package. So what the testing package allows you to do is it's literally a test framework built inside of Go for Go. And it's in the standard library. So typically in some language, you may see like outside APIs and outside packages and libraries that you need to pull down for testing. Go actually has it built in directly. And then you're going to see this testify/assert. And what assert does is it's essentially an extra set of tools for testing. And we're going to see that. We're going to see like where you can do, assert dot not nil. So if it's not nil or if it is nil, you can spit out an error and your test will fail, things like that. So next what we have is we have our function itself. We'll write the function out here. We're going to do func test. So this is another thing. Now you notice how you have the run test and debug test, but now let's say I just, write Azure auth, but let's say I take out the tests. Boom. So automatically you can see that for Go to run a test, the function itself actually has to have test in the beginning of the function name. And then we're going to bring in as a parameter the testing framework, aka on line 5 there, you can see that package for testing. So we can call this T testing T, and then we're going to use the T method, and you can see the explanation here for that struct. Well, it's not a method, it's a struct. So what we can do here is you can actually name this parameter whatever you want. 9 times out of 10, you're always going to see the T testing.t, but like you could name this testing or test if you want to, totally doesn't matter. But I'm just going to name it T because that's like pretty much the standard, I would say. And then I'm going to create the test. Like, what do I actually want to test? And I want to test my Azure auth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do auth1, and then I'm going to put an error because this function that I'm going to be bringing back expects 2 values. I'm going to put this inside of a variable. I'm going to do auth, aka I'm calling on line 9 that auth package or that auth SDK for Azure. And then I'm going to do new authorizer from CLI. So what this means is if you have an AZ CLI and you do AZ account show, and this is obviously specifically if you're authenticating to Azure. Now we can see that I don't have a login here and I don't have anything set up. So what I want to do is I'm going to do AZ login, and this is going to bring up a web portal for me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my default account here, type in my password, and then now I'm authenticated. And we can see here now if I do AZ account show again, we can see my account comes back. So this is going to be the test. The test is going to be, can I authenticate via the Azure CLI using Go? So now I'm going to start to use the assert package. And as you can see, there are a ton of different functions in here, but I'm going to do not nil. So what this means is the object nil? If it's not nil, great. The test is going to pass. If it is nil, the test is going to fail. So, oops, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my t parameter here because I'm using the testing package, and then I'm going to do err. So what this is going to essentially say is, is something coming back as an error? Is there some sort of error occurring? So then I'm just going to do fmt print ln auth1, and because if I go up here, you can see auth1 is declared but not used. So I need to, have the ability to use that. I'm going to clear my screen here. I'm going to ls, and I can see my test right there. I'm going to run go test -v, and what v does is just like a verbose output. I'm going to run this, and the test is going to start. And as we can see, the test has failed because the expected value is not nil. So actually, instead of using here, like you would assume, I'm just going to do auth1, and then I'm just going to do an if statement here if not equal to nil. Print me out some error here using the log package. I'm going to print that out. So now let's try this again. I'm going to clear my screen, and I'm going to do go test v, and it's going to run my test, and we can see that the test has successfully passed. And the reason why is because I've passed in that auth1, and auth1 is what holds the new authorizer from CLI function. It holds the ability to say, yep, you're able to authenticate using the Azure CLI. Now let's try something here. Let's do az account clear. So what this is going to do is this is going to wipe out that AZ login that I just did. So if I do AZ account show again, we can see here that I have no account for my AZ CLI. Well, logged in at least. So I'm going to run my test again here, and this test is going to fail. And we can see here invoking Azure CLI failed with the following error. Please run AZ login to set up. So we can see that the test failed, and the reason why is because it wasn't nil, it was nil. So not nil means is the value nil. So what happened was I cleared my AZ account, and then at this point the test failed because auth did not have any value. So what I can do is I can do AZ login, and this is going to pop up the web portal again that I'll be able to log into my Azure environment. All right, we're logged in. This is going to, yep, there we go. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run this again, and we're going to see this test pass. So as you can see, these tests, like you can have as many tests as you want, and these tests can get pretty granular and very large. But this is a very basic test to test essentially an edge case of, okay, is your application using the Azure CLI for auth? Okay, are you even logged in the first place? So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it. And if you like the video, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and I always comment back. So we could definitely have a conversation on this if you'd like.